You have a number in your head right now, the amount sitting in your savings account. And you feel good about that number because you worked to build it. You said no to things. You stayed disciplined when it would have been easier not to. So here's a question that's going to feel slightly unfair. That money, is it actually working as hard as you did to save it? For most people, the honest answer is no. And the reason isn't that they're bad with money. It's that nobody ever explained what happens after saving. Saving and investing get talked about like they're the same skill on a spectrum, like investing is just saving but more advanced. They're not the same thing at all. Saving has one job. Keep your money safe and accessible. Investing has a completely different job. Make your money grow. A savings account will never do the second job, no matter how much you put into it. It was never built to. Here's the gap in real numbers. $10,000 in savings earning 1% interest becomes $10,100 after a year. The same $10,000 invested in something tracking the broader stock market, which has historically averaged close to 10% a year over long stretches, becomes roughly $11,000 in that same year. Stretch that out to 20 years with nothing added, no extra contributions, just sitting there. Savings, about $12,200. Invested, about $67,000. Same starting amount. Same 20 years. A $55,000 gap that exists for one reason only, where the money was sitting. That gap is the actual wealth divide in this country. Not really between people who save and people who don't. Between people who save and people who never take the next step. So why don't more people take it? It's not because they don't know investing exists. Everyone's heard of the stock market. It's because of something much simpler. Fear of losing money they worked hard to save. And that fear makes sense. A savings balance doesn't move. You can check it every day, and it's exactly where you left it. An investment account moves up some days, down on others, and that movement feels like risk even when, over time, it's actually the thing doing the work for you. So if you've got money sitting in savings wondering if you're missing something, here's the path. 5 steps. In order. Nothing skipped. Step 1. Before any of this, build a real emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses, kept entirely in cash, untouched. This step gets treated like a boring prerequisite, but it's actually what protects everything after it. The number one reason people sell their investments at the worst possible time isn't bad luck in the market. It's needing cash for something they didn't see coming, and having nowhere else to pull it from. An emergency fund isn't separate from investing. It's what allows you to keep investing when life gets messy, instead of panic selling at a loss. Step 2. Mentally split your money into 2 buckets before you do anything else. Bucket 1, safety money. It doesn't move, and that's the point. Bucket 2, growth money. It's allowed to go up and down because going up and down over time is literally how it grows. Once you think of it this way, a 5% dip in your investment account stops feeling like a crisis. It's growth money behaving exactly the way growth money is supposed to. Step 3. Start with an amount that feels almost too small to matter. Most beginners assume investing requires thousands of dollars to be worth doing. Doesn't. Most platforms today let you start with $50, sometimes less. At this stage, the dollar amount isn't the point, the habit is. Because habits repeated for years are what actually build wealth. Timing the perfect moment rarely is. Step 4. Keep your first investments boring on purpose. This is where a lot of beginners go wrong almost immediately. They jump straight to picking individual stocks or day trading, or chasing whatever's trending that week. But the simplest option usually wins long term. Index funds spread your money across hundreds of companies at once instead of betting everything on one. Lower risk, steadier growth. And it's the exact strategy Warren Buffett has pointed ordinary investors toward for decades. Step 5. Stay consistent and let time take it from there. Here's a number most people find surprising. Invest $300 every month for 25 years, at an average return of 8% a year, and you'd end up with roughly $285,000. Out of that total, you would have personally contributed $90,000. The remaining $195,000, more than double what you put in, came from growth alone. Money your money made without you doing anything extra. That's what compounding actually looks like. It rewards time and patience far more than it rewards effort or cleverness. Here's a simple way to hold the difference between saving and investing in your head. Saving is sealing seeds inside a jar. They're protected. They're also never going to become anything more than seeds. Investing is planting them in soil. For a while it looks like nothing's happening. Just dirt, no visible progress. Then, eventually, there's something growing that's far bigger than what you started with, and it didn't need constant attention to get there. Now, the question almost everyone asks at this point: what if I start investing and the market crashes right after? Market downturns aren't rare events. They've happened dozens of times throughout history, and every single person who's ever built real wealth through investing lived through several of them. Here's the part rarely explained well. If you're investing the same amount every month, a falling market means that same amount buys more shares at a lower price. When the market eventually recovers, and historically it always has, those extra shares are working in your favor. The investors who do well over decades aren't the ones who somehow avoided every downturn. They're the ones who kept showing up through all of them. So here's the full path again, start to finish. Build your emergency fund. Split your money into safety and growth in your head first. Start investing small. Keep it simple. Stay consistent and give it years, not weeks. None of this requires you to predict the market, pick winning stocks, or suddenly become a different kind of person with money. Saving gave you stability. That part you've already proven you can do. Investing is what turns that stability into something that keeps growing on its own, into freedom eventually instead of just safety. That number in your savings account right now isn't a mistake, and it was never wasted effort. It's step 1. The only thing that was ever missing was step 2.